Truth, Peace, Hotep, Beirut, 1961. Of course, we're going to deal with the last axiom as defined by the Kybalion. It's not in the same order, but Wayne B. Chandler, again, into the future. Uh, Principle of causation. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. And it says that the principle, to many known as cause and effect, will enunciate for Hermetic teachers and aspirants in their earliest periods of Egyptian history. The principle is presently expressed in virtually all philosophies and religion. Westerners have come to identify superficially this law with sayings such as ye sow, so shall ye reap, what goes around comes around. The ancient Egyptian concept of Ma'at, which signifies justice, truth, and righteousness or correct action, embodies causation on many levels. Morally, causation maintains universal equilibrium through this process of correct action. If one commits a beneficial deed, there's a reaction that enhances the positive potential of his or her life. Consequently, if one initiates base actions, the result will be a lesson of equal severity, which the wise will take advantage of to enhance their growth and maturity. People who not to understand why they continuously encounter the same obstacles are doomed to repeat the lesson until it's learned. Well, again, it's like, what comes up must go down, what goes around comes around, as it was saying. It's just like for every negative action that you do, you should do 10,000 positive actions because it may or may not correct that action in which you did. And as for myself, I know I have a lot of negative actions that I do, and I try to do things on a positive nature 3 or 4 or 5 times a day. Because if I've lived a certain number of years, then in order for me to, to negate that negativeness, again, as we talked about, the laws of polarity, and the more love you put into the world for the hate that you've done, you're eventually going to do more love than you do hate if that's where your desire is. And so, things happen to people. It's like when bad things happen to people, oh my God, it's God doing this. And, because even in the Bible, again, I'm not using that as some blueprint for you, for anybody to follow. What I'm saying is like that, that Jesus healed people. And he said, well, your sin has been healed because, these cancers that are happening in our lives, or because we allowed ourselves to eat processed food. When will we learn that capitalism is one of the most detrimental economic systems in this world? In order for Walmart to have those good prices somewhere around the world, someone is being exploited. Because whether you know it or not, the World Trade Organization, the WTO, you see also on the newspaper, they're having these meetings and stuff, and people are protesting. They don't never tell you why they're protesting. They're protesting because they come together to circumvent local laws so that big business around the world can go into countries, pay them people 50 cents an hour. Can you imagine us Americans working for 50 cents an hour? There's a reason why it's like they give us money, either through Social Security benefits, welfare, whatever it is, to maintain us in a position of subserviency. Because most people, as long as they can get up, eat something, sleep on a cot, no matter where it is, we're all good with it. But our lack of action to see that a lot of our people in this country, in other communities, other continents, are being exploited around the world in the name of capitalism, of, having such a good life. Swimming pools, Rolls Royces, diamond rings. We see it in our communities. I can see it in my own community. Like you have the rap community. I was there when it first was formulated. It had nothing to do with people having a whole lot of bling bling or whatever. We just came together to party so that we weren't outside doing all this other devilment. And I'm not saying that, inside, they weren't selling drugs, they weren't selling weed, we weren't, underage drinking. Yeah, it was all of that. No one was telling us to stop. There was those very few elders amongst, where I used to live, where they definitely would come and tell you, don't be like me. And I used to do the same thing. When I was out there ripping and running, I said, tell young kids, man, don't do like me. Don't be like me, man. Move on. And then I said, what, get an education? It's just like I was talking to, a friend from my old neighborhood, and, one of the original blood sets, not from 93, but from, they formed, I think, in 96 or 97, is from my community. And I was saying to him, we need to tell these cats to put these rags down. But then I said, what do we offer them? We offer them corporate jobs or, sweeping streets and, something that doesn't help them in terms of their own spiritual guidance. Tell them to go to Jesus Christ, or become Muslim or whatever. To me, I can't do that because what it does is I know that it's going to trap them into the same paradigm of patriarchy, capitalism, exploitation, which is destroying our world today. So yes, you got all of these axioms are interconnected. Now, what I find very interesting, this being, like I said, the last axiom to talk about, that there are two other axioms. And the eighth principle, that fell right on my foot. Okay? We have the eighth principle is growth and creation. And then we have the principle of breathing. Okay? These are things that, I'm going to go into them. I'm probably going to put them together as 8 and 9. As a matter of fact, again, every cause has its effect. The paradigm of capitalism, patriarchal systems, exploitation, these are the things that we should be looking at, and they're all around us on all levels. And there's no way around it. Unless someone can tell me that we can change this system so it's less exploitive, let's talk about that. Because for every cause there's an effect, and every effect has its cause. And that rock that fell on that car, it may have been a pebble taken out of place that someone put out of place that put that rock on top of that car. It had nothing to do with having an argument before you left, and karma and all the rest of that stuff. It may have that. Because there are some things that will definitely be unknown. But what I do know is that we need to become more spiritually grounded in a lot of things that we do, how we say them, do things with love. And this is what I'm doing. I'm doing this out of love, not out of necessity for popularity. I'm doing this because it's helped me, and hopefully it can help someone else. So I'm going to talk about the principles of growth and breathing in one video. Truth, peace, and hotep, and blessings in a session to anybody who wishes to. Again, these videos are not just for me to expound upon this, for us to come together and talk about them and to elevate together. Peace.